All right, everybody, what is going on? Good morning, happy Saturday. Going to be taking a break from the rookie deep dives today. We have plenty more rookies to get to, but I'm just going to go ahead and take at least one day away from it to talk about other things. Maybe 2 days, maybe I'll take the whole weekend. I don't know. We've got all the time in the world this off season. We're heading into the slow part of the year, so I'm not worried about running out of time or anything like that. But I'm going to need some extra time, I think, for the Jalen Milroe videos because there's so much to pull apart there. And bottom line is, my reaction to the Seahawks taking Jalen Milroe was one of the most, well, let's call it polarizing things when it came to how I reacted to this draft. So I feel the need to put a lot of effort into that, to really try to both explain my point of view and also open myself up to maybe looking at things a little bit differently. So that's going to be coming up either tomorrow or Monday. But I want to talk about a couple of things in this video that have nothing to do with that. So first of all, we are less than a week away from the 2025 NFL schedule release. So the NFL schedule release is one of the most important days of the NFL calendar. The schedule release is that time where you actually find out what order you're going to play teams in, because obviously you already know what teams your team is going to play. You just don't know when, and you don't know the order. You don't know when you're going to get your primetime games. You don't know if you're going to get an overseas game. You only have limited information. Well, this Wednesday at about 5 o'clock Pacific, so 8 o'clock Eastern, we're going to get the full 2025 schedule. So yeah, Wednesday, May 14 at 8 p.m. ET, so that's 5 p.m. my time, we're going to get the full schedule for every team. Now, there are going to be leaks of partial schedules before then, and some of that is going to be by design. Some of it may be an accident, but we are going to get some data before we get to the full release. And it's possible the full schedule gets leaked early. That's happened before. Sometimes it only happens for some teams. Sometimes it happens for most of them. But this is always a little bit of a hectic time of the year where you're getting the schedule and you're just kind of hoping that the information you see ends up being true, and you don't know for sure until the official NFL release hits on Wednesday. So I want to talk about my plans for this schedule release because it's a little bit different than the way I've done the last couple of years. This year's NFL schedule release reaction will be live streamed, but it will be live streamed on Bleacher Report only. Now, you guys know that I typically do my Bleacher Report stream Wednesday at 6. This week, I'm going to be doing it Wednesday at 5, because 5 is when the schedule release hits. So I should be going live just about the exact time the Seahawks schedule and every other schedule gets released in full. So over there on the Bleacher Report, I will be reacting live, having not looked at the schedule beforehand, having purposefully tried to avoid any leaks or any partial data that has come out. So I'm going to say that right now. I know there's going to be partial data. I know there's going to be some leaks. I know there's going to be some information. I'm going to be trying to avoid it as much as I can so I can have as robust a reaction and a natural reaction as much as possible for that stream. So that stream will be only available on Bleacher Report, and you have to download the app in order to see the stream. You can make an account if you want to comment on the stream as well, but it's not going to be streamed to YouTube or X or any other place. It's going to be a Bleacher Report exclusive. So if you're not already over there following me, definitely do that. I will try to get the link out as soon as I can once the show is created. But if you want to see me do a live and unrehearsed reaction to the schedule, that is when you should be on the Bleacher Report app. Now, that's not to say that I won't have anything about the schedule on YouTube, of course. After that Bleacher Report stream is over, I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to have that video be on the schedule. I'm going to just talk about my initial thoughts on pros and cons, just give my initial take on what is good and what is bad about the schedule, and maybe offer up an initial prediction. And that's going to be a pre-recorded video with me just going over things bit by bit. And I'm going to upload that video to YouTube probably sometime between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. That'll go up. So if you're only able to watch the YouTube side, there will still be a schedule reaction right after the release, but it's not going to be the immediate natural live streamed reaction. So that's the way we're going to do things this year. So get on Bleacher Report. All right, so that's really about all I have to say about that, the schedule stuff. So either way, be prepared for conversations about this. Wednesday is going to be the NFL release schedule day. I may end up having to do one video in the prior days if I see a lot of information about the Seahawks schedule by accident. Again, I'm going to try to avoid it, but it may be impossible. And if I end up seeing a good chunk of the schedule before 5 o'clock, I may make a video on it just discussing what I know. But other than that, I'm going to try to give as honest a reaction as I can on the stream. Okay, so that's that. One other thing I want to talk about in this video, partially related to the schedule. We're talking about home games here. One thing about the Seahawks that got some attention, I believe this was yesterday. I saw a few different accounts tweet about this, Beast Mode 80 being one of them, but I know that Evan Hill was tweeting about it a little bit. A couple other people as well. Can't remember everybody. But basically, the Seahawks emailed out their season ticket holders with some information about the upcoming season. And there was one thing that they sent out in that email that caught some people's attention. I want to take a look at this real quick. So this is the screenshot of the email. Let's zoom in on it a little bit here and get to the important part. We are happy to provide the ability to resell your tickets through the NFL Ticket Exchange. While occasional resale is permitted, renewal eligibility may be impacted if it is determined that your tickets were primarily used for resale purposes. At the conclusion of each season, accounts that resell a majority of their season tickets will be contacted and given an opportunity to respond before any renewal eligibility decisions are made. Now, the thing about Seahawks fans reselling their tickets to fans of opposing teams was not necessarily a major story until this most recent season. So for all I know, this email paragraph has been sent out every year for the last several years or even decade plus. I don't know, because this was never really talked about. But in light of what happened with some of the games last year, like the Packers game in particular, but there were other games too, this is certainly interesting. This is a concrete statement that the Seahawks are aware of the resale problem with season tickets, and they're aware of the negative impact it's having on the team, and they are looking to do something about it, at least in theory. Will they actually do it in practice? We're not going to know that right now, but this definitely got some people's attention. And again, this is an email specifically for the Seahawks. This is not just some generic email that gets sent out to every season ticket holder. And again, I've never heard of anything like this from season ticket holders prior. So I suspect it's new. If it's not, then maybe somebody could let me know about that. Maybe someone who is a season ticket holder could talk about that. I'm not, but to my knowledge, this is new. So I will admit that I'm not a big fan of the idea of people being told what they need to do with something that they paid for, especially something they paid a lot of money for. That's not something that I typically go for. That's not something that I feel like is representative of the values that I like to have. I don't like the idea of a person or an entity paying a lot of money for season tickets and then being told that they can only utilize the season tickets in a pre-approved way. That's not my favorite thing. But there's a problem here with the Seattle Seahawks. This is a problem where you have important home games, a game that is in large part going to decide the fate of your season against the Green Bay Packers at home, and half the stadium is Packers fans. You've got a big home game against the 49ers. Half the stadium is Niners fans. This is a problem that is hurting the product. I mean, you see that the team doesn't play the way they used to play at home. That's hurting the product. That's hurting the bottom line of the product. That's hurting the ability of the product to make money going forward. If we had had better home field advantage, if we had had better fan attendance in 2024, it's reasonable to believe we would have found a way to win one or two more games and made the playoffs. I'm not saying we definitely would have. I'm not even saying there would definitely have been an effect, but there is an argument to be made there that I think carries a little bit of weight. So at the end of the day, the team needs to work in the best interest of the team. And if this is something they need to pursue in order to stop the problem and get more home fans into the stadium, then I have to be willing to get behind that, even though I think on some level it is a little bit questionable. And there's another side to this too. Is this really fair to people that have been on the waiting list for season tickets for years, maybe even decades, and will never get them because the people who still have the season tickets but don't even want to go to games anymore are just reselling all their tickets? What about those people? Is it fair to them that they just sit on a waiting list forever because of people like that? So I know it's a complicated issue. I'm not here to say that every single person that does resale is bad. I'm not here to say that every single resale to a fan of an opposing team is sacrilegious, but something needs to be done, and it looks like the team is looking to do it. And I look at something like this, and I think to myself, it's more indication that for one reason or another, and we can debate over the reason why, Jody Allen really wants this to work. Jody Allen really cares. Jody Allen is invested, and Jody Allen is trying to be the best owner that she can be. Because this would be something that I would think a lesser owner would just shrug their shoulders about. A lesser owner would just say, I don't really care as long as I'm getting my money. Somebody's buying the ticket. Somebody's going to the game. Doesn't bother me that much if they're fans of the other team. But something like this, it reminds you that Jody Allen is not just here to count money. She's not just here to hold on to the team for a little bit while waiting for an opportunity to sell it for billions of dollars. It does seem like she wants to do this the right way. And I've had questions about Jody Allen in the past because I wasn't sure what kind of owner she wanted to be. But things like this are going to make me feel a little bit better. Just like the whole Pete Carroll firing Mike McDonald hiring thing made me feel better about Jody. So that is what I think about that. Again, it's a little bit of a complex issue, but at the end of the day, I think that the product is now being hurt by this. And I think it's good that the team wants to do something about it. All right. I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys either later today or tomorrow. Be on Twitch later. Go Hawks.